I saw Cam Newton as having maybe the best passing season of his career when he got hurt. We have not yet seen a healthy Cam Newton since then. And now you have a guy who's capable of coaxing that performance and setting up a situation for a quarterback to thrive like that. If they've decided Cam is the guy, this could be great for Cam.
It could be great for Cam, and I want to congratulate Joe Brady because obviously he did a great job for LSU, particularly this past season with Joe Burrow. We all recognize that. He was hired by LSU and Coach Ed Orgeron as the passing game coordinator and wide receivers coach. Obviously, that made him a hot commodity for offensive coordinator positions. He deserves this opportunity. I'm not trying to knock it. My mind is just a different place. Again, he's young. He's received this opportunity, and there's a plethora of African-American coaches that will bypass not just on the NFL level, but the collegiate level as well. And as egregious as we may find a situation to be for African-American men in the coaching fraternity in the National Football League, it's significantly worse in the college ranks. And so as a result of it, we look at Joe Brady, and I'm sorry, I look at it from the standpoint, I'm not questioning whether he deserved it or not. I'm certainly not, I'm not maligning him in any way. I'm happy for him and his family. He deserves the opportunity. He did a hell of a job with the reigning Heisman Trophy winner who has set all-time records as a quarterback in collegiate football. But at the end of the day, it's just the latest example of, you know, when you have folks that are speaking up for you and speaking on your behalf and pushing you to the forefront, positioning you to be recognized. I just wish that I saw more of those opportunities presenting itself for African-American men, and that's not the case.
They're examples of African-American coordinators who should be considered for promotions, et cetera, and promotions to coordinator. I think Joe Brady's a bad example to be using those, Stephen. I know you're not talking about him, but when we were discussing yesterday about the power structure in college football right now, and one of the reasons I think there's a hesitancy to put LSU right there, like with Alabama and Clemson, is because, well, Joe Burrow's gone. So can they do that again? And even though Brady had signed an extension, it like doubled his salary, there was an out in case he had an NFL opportunity. And sure enough, that came. And that was the thing I was looking at, more than losing Burrow or anything. If you lose Joe Brady, it's really hard to keep those guys when you have that kind of success. Do you still believe in LSU next year? And respect to Coach O, but no, I wouldn't like them to repeat. Based on them losing Joe Brady, that's how highly I think of him based on the effect he seemed to have on the offense.
Well, the only thing that I would push back on is this, Max. I'm certainly not trying to use Joe Brady as an example to act like he didn't deserve the opportunity that he has. I'm not questioning Joe Brady in any way. But what I'm saying is when you sit up there and say, well, that's a bad example, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, nobody's a bad example because anything that brings attention to this issue, to me, is a good example because there are too many African-American men that have pounded the pavement and busted their tail and went through the proper channels and was supposed to be ideally positioned for opportunities that are not getting them, even with Eric Bieniemy. And I'm not knocking Andy Reid by any stretch of the imagination because Andy Reid has spoken up for that man. He has praised that man on numerous occasions, and he's leaned on him as well. But we still, when we talk about Patrick Mahomes, we talk about the play caller that Andy Reid is when it's usually the job of the offensive coordinator, which is Eric Bieniemy, but he doesn't necessarily have that responsibility at least all the time. It's continual obstacles and roadblocks to ascension when it comes to African-American men.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.